Zach.
Okay, it is, we're gonna focus here, Wednesday, June 4th. Okay guys, so it is Wednesday, June 4th, okay? Hot Rod Power Tour is on Monday, June 9th. So that means we are 5 days out from Power Tour as of right now, and it's like 8 p.m. So at the end of the day, it's like, let's call it 4 days. We have the Mustang back in the garage. I wanted to get a couple of small things done, got it up on the bricks. One of those small things that I did not anticipate as of Monday was going to be transmission issues. So we did a little bit of a burnout, kind of having a little bit of fun after getting the rear end all situated with those new carbon fiber clutches that turned out awesome. They worked really well and everything's all good to go on this. Did a little bit of a burnout. Immediately the trans did not feel good at all. It was really notchy, really hard, and then it basically fully stopped going into first and second gear. So I was kind of like going back and through doing a bunch of fun little tests. So we were going through and basically we jacked up the pumpkin, we would engage the clutch on there, the wheel would stop, so basically we knew the clutch engagement was good. I went ahead and still like played with the cable and did a couple of small little things just to make sure that 100% it was something internal to the trans. And we're thinking, unfortunately, that I probably split the synchro hub between first and second gear, which is why first and second gear didn't work. I could still put it kind of into third gear, but not really. It was kind of fighting me. So with there being 5 days before Power Tour, we had to make a decision. Either we're not taking this car on Power Tour, or we got to fix the trans. And what I went ahead today then is paid a little visit over to D&D Performance, and we have a new Tremec T5. So went ahead and picked up their trans fluid as well. So now we're going to get this fully swapped into the car, and then I need 500 miles of light city driving, which we're not going to have before Power Tour, but that's not really a big deal, just because basically my plan is we're going to put this trans in the car, hopefully get it all done tonight. It's a pretty straightforward swap on there, and then we're going to take the first couple days light on Power Tour, and then maybe at the very end of the week we're going to go ahead and hit up the drag strip and see if it holds power. If not, we're pretty close to home. We know a lot of people around where the last stop of the tour is going to be. So we're going to slam this trans into the car, and maybe I'll take the top plate off. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of time, being that there's only really 4 days before Power Tour, and I got a lot of small stuff to get done on the car still. So with that being said, we're going to pull the old trans out, put the new trans in. I am so thankful that D&D Performance actually stocks these units. I was able, gave them a call at 10 o'clock. I was loading one in my truck by noon, so I'm very excited about that. There's a couple of small upgrades with this trans. So this one, they call it the AA251 on there. So this is what they would call as a Z transmission. So Ford Z transmission, or Ford Performance Trans. So instead of a 335-to-1 first gear ratio, it's a 295. So it's slightly lower, less harsh on the overall trans itself. Basically all of the good stuff in the internals, from my understanding, there's like carbon fiber rings in there, chromoly gears, pretty much all the good stuff, and it was actually fairly reliable. At the posting of this video, it was about $2,000. So obviously not great going into Power Tour, but at the end of the day, this is probably my biggest vacation of the year, and I wanted to go on vacation, so we had to do what we had to do. So we're going to pull the old trans out of the car. We're going to hopefully get the new trans installed tonight, and then we'll go from there. I do have the Hanlon video on how to disassemble transmissions. I have my actually original 86 trans over there in the corner. That one actually also has a bad second gear synchro. So we'll probably, between the two transmissions, at least be able to cobble together one good one as a backup, or maybe potentially for a new project. But overall, that's kind of where we're at for right now. So I'm going to pull the old trans out. Thankfully, on these older cars, it's so simple. There's only 4 bolts that go around the bell housing, or I'm sorry, 4 bolts that bolt the transmission to the bell housing. I need to drop my exhaust, which also happens to be about 6 bolts, and then we have to drop drive shaft. So overall, it's a fairly straightforward swap to be able to get in and get out, and I'm going to start working on it right now. So I'll pull the trans, and then we'll circle back to see exactly what we're looking at. Maybe I can hopefully diagnose a little bit more. Okay, well here is the old trans and the new trans. So just kind of double checking everything, making sure. This is a aftermarket bearing retainer that I did put on. Anyways, this one is totally fine. It is steel and reinforced. I am leaving all of this on because it does not need to go. I was double checking to make sure, just taking a square. Looks like everything's good to go. It does have the neutral safety switch. Pretty much has everything. So the only thing I have left to do is to swap over my shifter, because I love my MGW one, and get rid of just this stocker unit, or what appears to be a stocker unit, and then we can slam this all in the car. I even verified to make sure that the speedo gear was correct. So we are in very good shape. I timed myself, not to brag. I had this trans out in 28 minutes. So very, very happy about it. So much lighter than the T56 I've been working on. So I'm going to get this all back together, and then we'll put it in the car, get it all oiled up, and we'll be done with this one tonight. Okay, so we actually just got done putting in the trans. Overall, it took me like 3 hours total, and I was taking my time. I was not pushing. I was not really rushing. So let's take a look real quick if you guys can see underneath there. And oh, there we go. So overall, everything went very, 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 very well. So now what we're gonna do, it is 11 o'clock at night, but I'm honestly too excited. I spent too much money. I'm gonna see if this thing goes into first and second gear. So I'm gonna fire it up in the garage, and then hopefully we'll be in good shape. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to take this apart real fast. It's not too difficult, thankfully. It's a handful of bolts. We do have to get the tail housing to come out, but thankfully it's pretty straightforward in that regard. So you do have to end up starting off by removing this right here, which I just put on more or less cosmetically. Go. Just gonna pop off just like that right there. That is the shifter, little shifter boot piece right there. Then you need to grab a punch. You have to actually drive out this one. Hopefully I grabbed the right one off the bat. There we go. So you take out the shifter fork, you take out, there's a little spring, there's a little roll pin, and there's a ball. So all of those pieces do have to come out. Let's see real quick. Ugh. There. Let's start my parts piece right here. And again, this trans is pretty much cooked, so it's not really a big deal for me to be putting all this stuff on the ground, because if I rebuild it, it's going to get a lot of it replaced anyways. So okay, now we need to hit up all the back bolts. Okay, so now that we got that off, now we need to separate the two. This generally causes a huge mess. The last time I did it, it did the same thing. I just went up against the little breather right here to try to get it to pop, and it does look like I can see the whole thing moving just a bit. Yep, and see right here, this is where I was talking about, where you start working on this and it's gonna start leaking, even if you already drained it fully like I did. See if we can get it. Okay, and then you just, these are pretty simple and straightforward. Yeah, I think you get them loose, and then basically this will slide off. So what we're gonna end up doing is I need to knock it free just like I was just doing. I might end up using the front piece. For casting. It's not this right here. Okay. Alright, now that we got that free from the silicone, see if I remember the trick. It was a slide, yep, and then it should come up like that right there. And, okay, so, looks like the pads look fine on here. I don't have a broken shift fork at all. Beyond there being a lot of wear on it, which does not look too crazy. And I'd say I'm guessing that this right here, because there's a lot of wear on there. Yeah, so let's see if it'll unjam or if it's gonna do this. Because it was like, basically you would pop it and it would not want to come back out. Yeah, and see that's just right there, that's, it should be fully engaging nicely. Yeah, there's material. I'm pretty sure this is what's busted right here, but what I'm sure it is there's something going on in here where we're not seeing it, unfortunately. But all the fun stuff, that's absolutely everything. Oh, hold on. Let's see, is this it? No. See, those are rotating nicely, but yep. Oh well, it is what it is. So at least we were able to get this all taken care of and get it all pulled out and nice. So, oh well, at the end of the day, we have a trans that works now, and that's pretty much all I wanted. So thanks again for joining us. Hopefully you learned something from this, but we'll leave it there and catch you guys on Power Tour.